Hello, I'm Roland Dickey from Dickey's Barbecue with something tasty this January and February.
You can't be serious.
I am. Dickey's has $1 pulled pork sliders.
That's outrageous.
And outrageously delicious. Come try our slow smoke pulled pork sliders inside our world famous buttery rolls. At just $1, you can buy a bunch for game watching, big old shindigs, anytime that everybody is getting together.
You're practically giving them away.
$1 pulled pork sliders at Dickey's, where we speak barbecue.
Dickey's, we speak barbecue.
Blog Talk Radio.
Writing your book is the easy part. Promoting your book so readers can find and purchase it is the hard part. Welcome to the Author Chat Show, hosted by author-publisher Lynda D. Brown. Follow us at www.facebook.com/authorchat. And to contact the show to promote your book, contact me at theauthorchatshow@gmail.com. Stay tuned and listen to today's show.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Author Chat Show. I'm your host, Lynda D. Brown. My guest today is author Peter Mack. This is Peter's second appearance on the Author Chat Show, and he's stopping by to discuss his two latest books, Filthy, Innocence Lost, and Lick, Dirty Nasty Daddy. Yes, this is a slight departure from the usual genre that we talk about on the show, but Mr. Mack is a special friend. We're going to be right back to chat with author Peter Mack about his book after a word from today's sponsor.
How would you like to own your own health and wellness business with celebrities like Shaquille O'Neal, Chris Brown, Snoop Dogg, Jennifer Lopez, UFC fighters Brandon Vera, Houston Alexander, DWTS's Alfonso Riviero, singer B. Howard, and MMA fighter Rich Rigmadden promoting your business for you? How would you like to share amazing, great-tasting products with your friends and family and make extra money and get free products? How would you like to earn weekly and monthly bonuses? What about getting your share of equity in this billion-dollar company? For more information, log on to www.whatareyouyoueating.info.
Okay, and we are back. For those of you just tuning in, this is Author Chat. This is Lynda D. Brown of the Author Chat Show. We're here to chat with author Peter Mack about his two latest books, Filthy and Lick. Author Peter Mack, welcome back to the Author Chat Show.
How you doing, Lynda? Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Welcome. Oh, no problem, hon. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Before we get started, since this is your second time on the show, for those that might have missed the first interview, Peter, tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get started writing?
Well, my first book, Hootsuite, was written after dreaming. So I started writing to basically chart a new course for my life and be able to express some things about my life and those that were close to me and to put them on paper. So to just let people see what they can relate to and kind of go through things vicariously through me.
Exactly. And so your first book came out in what year?
Hootsuite came out in 2004. And that was followed up by, Hootsuite came out in 2007. My autobiography, Play My Hand, came out in 2004. That was followed by A Neighborly Affair, 2009, The Seduction of Ayanna Cherry, 2011, Ayanna Cherry and the Tabernacle Glorious, 2012, and I've published 4 books since then.
That is amazing. And Peter, congratulations! You just won the PEN Award. Is that correct?
Right, exactly. For
Peter American Award, Peter Peace Book Prize. Tell us about that.
Well, I submitted Filthy to the PEN American Society a few years ago, and actually had forgotten about it. And it wasn't until after it was published as Filthy. When I submitted it, it was called Lost Innocence. So when I published it as Filthy, I got the notice that I'd won a PEN Award. And so, it was just a validation of a story that hit home. Filthy was based in Los Angeles, 1984, the dawn of the crack era. And it just told my story of when my mother had a nervous breakdown after my Aunt Paula's death, and I had to move to the east side of Los Angeles and live with my grandmother. Now, at the time, this was 1984, and all of my uncles who my mom had tried to shield me from, they were there. My Uncle Aurel, who appears on the back cover with his Rolls Royce and his mean coat, they were, they were hood reputables. They were all hustlers and dope sellers. And here I was, 14 years old, I was innocent. And over that summer, I lost my innocence. That summer found me having sex with grown women, selling drugs to grown men, and shooting guns. And the story resonated with a lot of people. I mean, if you look at the reviews, people are really torn. They're heartfelt reviews, and it just resonated with people who kind of harken back to that time and see where the tragedy occurred, and how, we talk about how we try to glamorize the violence and the drugs nowadays, but Filthy kind of illustrates the undercurrent of it all and how it actually happens. Like, you get to look under the hood of what we see in a negative way.
Absolutely. And tell us about Licks, and what year did that come out?
Oh, that came out last year. That is a full trilogy. Initially, it was published as Dirty Licks with Lockdown Publications, and when I got out of that contract, I had already written books 2 and 3. So actually, Licks is Dirty Licks, Nasty Licks, and Daddy Licks. And the Licks trilogy are 3 themes. The first one, Dirty Licks, features a man whose wife is kidnapped, and he'll do anything over the course of a night to get her back. And the second series, it really deals with, in Dirty Licks, everyone loves the funny grandmother and the mentally challenged brothers who kidnap the drug dealer's wife. So in Nasty Licks, in Daddy Licks, we bring Binky back. And Binky is the young girl who has to live with a foster home. So what we do with Licks, we address themes that are relevant. In Daddy Licks, we deal with themes of foster parents, abusive fathers, and girls who are really trying to find their self-worth. In Nasty Licks, we deal with themes that involve sexuality and what our boundaries are and what we are willing to experience and what labels we put on ourselves. So there are 3 themes in one book. So that's what Licks is about.
Oh, wonderful. And for those who are listening, you can find Peter's books on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and where all online books and paperback books are sold. Currently, I show that we have, I wanted to try to get the price out there so that people can go online now, and that you can actually download the book as we chat about this on the today with our interview with our author Peter Mack. Now, Peter, again, this is your second time on the show. You shared with our first listening audience the situation that you're in. Would you care to share with our listening audience where you are while you're writing? Because I want people to know.
Yeah.
Because I want people to know that, just because you might not be where you want to be doesn't mean you still can't fulfill your dreams. So go ahead.
Well, I'm incarcerated. And writing gives me a sense of freedom. And I live vicariously through my word. I'm free when I'm writing, and I'm able to do things that, I look at it like this. I was talking to somebody the other day, and as I'm launching my Peter Mack apparel line with my next release, which is Sweetwater Manor in March. We did the Peter Mack apparel line at first, but now I'm hooking up with a couture designer named by the name of Envisage Couture with Monica Miner. So it'll be an exclusive licensing agreement. This will be premium apparel, rich fibers, good weight, form-fitting ladies' tees with glitter and embossed pebbled embossing. So it's going to be a really nice look. So what I was talking to somebody about the other day, I'm incarcerated, but here's the thing. The mindset is that of an immigrant because, when immigrants come to this country, they see all of the opportunity and they take advantage of it. And what incarceration has allowed me to do is to think of an immigrant. Because I don't have the opportunity, I can see the opportunity and take advantage of it. There are people who are on the street who talk about writing a book, who have never written a book, who talk about doing an apparel line, who have never designed apparel, and or anything, who want to be hairstylists and never taken an opportunity to be a hairstylist. So, what I'm doing and what I talk about in my books, and the common thread throughout my books is people who move with desire, motivation, and dedication in pursuit for peace, power, and position. And all that means is if you think it and you say it and you believe it, then you can have it in your life. That's the common thread through all of my writing.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And is there a certain age limit you would advise parents to allow their kids to start reading your books, Peter?
Well, here's the thing. Someone read Filthy, and it's about me when I'm 14 years old in 1984. And a lady wrote to me, and she said, she inboxed me, and she said, I let my teenage son read your book, and it encouraged a dialogue that we needed to have. It talked about life choices, and it allowed him to see what I couldn't tell him. And she credited me with possibly saving his life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Peter, because of now you're represented by a publishing company, is that correct?
No, I'm not under contract now. I formed my own imprint, Peter Mack Presents, and with technology now, it's interesting because I was just approached by another publisher who offered to buy a trilogy of my books and have me write a trilogy and publish under my name under their imprint. Now there are all different kinds of situations in the publishing industry, and for someone who is under a label, that's great. But once you get the knowledge, there's no reason why you can't do it yourself.
Exactly. Okay. Well, the reason I was wondering is because my next question was, are your books available in the library? Especially
no,
the
they're
inner
not
city libraries. Yeah.
No, they're not in the inner city, and that would be great because I think Filthy and my latest release, which was released 2 weeks ago, which is Watermelon Summer, that is a youth novel, teenage novel, a little bit more innocent than Filthy because it occurs the previous summer.
Okay.
That would be a great read in the library.
Okay. Might be something that you might have an associate. Maybe go to her. I actually have a book on Amazon for authors, how to partner with your library. And if you get a copy of that, it's only available in ebook, like $2.99. If you get a copy of that, maybe you can get someone to represent your book. Oh, well, again, it's not. Well, you can still do an ebook signing. A lot of people aren't aware of that. But I'm like you, especially our inner city neighborhood, we probably, well, let me ask you this though, Peter. Do you think because the violence I'm sure that you're, like you said, with technology the way it is today, that you're able to see the same news broadcast that we get out here, the level of violence that we're seeing on the street, do you think your books would help those that are sort of, let's say, on the fence about whether or not they want to join with a group of people that are not doing the right thing, and that there's a way that your book might kind of put them on the right path?
Oh, definitely, because there, the sex and the murder is just a hook because there's a message. Lick starts out with a kidnapping, but the first scene is Stash talking to his wife, and she's telling him that, hey, Don't you think it's about time for us to get out the game? Don't you think it's about time for you to stop selling drugs? And they have an in-depth discussion about what their options are. And the next scene is Stash going to his aunt, who is my aunt, who is Lynda Brass, who has a real estate company. And I infect all of my novels with real situations and real people. Mm-hmm. So when you come away from a novel, you're going to learn something. So he visits Lynda Brass. He visits Lynda Brass and tells her how much money he has, and she gives him a breakdown on what it will take for him to earn a living during, purchasing his first rental property. And that's just one illustration. But throughout all of my novels, there is a conversation going on about consequences, about choices, and about resolutions and solutions to what you might be doing.
Wow, wonderful. Peter, now, are you currently working on, I think you said earlier you're working on a new book? Anything you'd like to share that with us?
Well, I just finished releasing Watermelon Summer, and Filthy and Watermelon Summer were released under my government name, which is Isico Cooks, because these are true stories and they're close to me and they represent family. So I wanted to identify with my family.
Right. And why that title? What is it, Watermelon?
Watermelon Summer.
Yeah.
Well, it started. There was a lady who lived across the street from me, and she showed up eating watermelon slices on her doorstep, and I would always look out for her. She was older than me, and when I finally, she would give me life lessons while everything else was going on in the neighborhood. I would always look for her, and that summer I remember most was about that watermelon, and it was special watermelon. By the time I finally got to eat some of her watermelon slices, I didn't know that it was laced with cognac, and it put me, it put me to sleep. So I just look at that summer as Watermelon Summer, and besides that, I think it's a sexy title.
It really is a very nice title, and now I really like the story behind it as well.
Right.
Well, Peter, I have to just say hands off to you. Your covers are amazing on Amazon. Whoever's doing your cover work, they're doing an amazing job. You are getting some reviews from some of your works on there. So tell us what it is, if you were able, what you'd like to do with this book. Go on tour at schools and talk to the kids. What would your ideal book be?
Wow. I wrote Filthy and Watermelon Summer just to get that off. And, what happened was I was motivated by all of the urban fiction writers out there and the carbon copies. Everybody's a dope dealer and, it's a side chick and it's a thought. And I just feel like, I avoided talking about the inner city. And, my first books, A Neighborly Affair and The Seduction of Ayanna Cherry, they are like romance novels. They're explicit, but they are romance novels. And so when I wrote, because I come from the inner city, I just felt like that was too easy to do. So I felt like, what? If I just write my story, I think that would be far more effective. Just to bring in the love. I mean, it's not all bad. Like, I was raised nice, but when we try to emphasize the negative, we give the impression that we try to glorify the whole situation, when really I look at it all as a love story with its own tragedies and its own triumphs. So writing Filthy and writing Watermelon Summer, it's really a love story with the elements of everything that we go through. That's why people kind of resonate with it, because, you can see yourself. Like, everyone knows those boys and those girls on those blocks when we were young. We weren't all, stuck in church 7 days a week. So like in Filthy, in Filthy, I went to church and with my grandmother on Sunday, and we sat there for 8 hours that day, and my butt hurt. And and it's a comedy. People say they laugh throughout the thing. They remember those days. They knew someone on the block. Everyone has somebody to identify in my novels, and that was the whole point. But your question was, am I going on tour with it? I get out in about 12 months. I come home in 12 months, and my plan is to go to So my plan is to go to film school, form my entertainment company, do the apparel. I want to see that in Macy's. I want to see that do nicely, and eventually make these novels into films. And that was part of my motivation of keeping my rights to my work. is that there's an end game in it. If I own the rights to my works, I can do anything I want with them after that.
Wonderful. Peter, I hope you're teaching classes, and do they allow you to teach classes in where you're at?
I try. I don't teach classes, but there are many people who come to me who I give advice to who want to write, and so in this environment, it's tough. Really kind of exposing yourself and what you do too much because there's always a risk.
Okay.
So people come to me privately and they ask me questions and I give advice and stuff like that. So I help where I can and when I can to those who I feel are serious.
Exactly. Well, I tell you, like I said, I think you've done a wonderful job. And now let me ask you this, because I guess I got off track with my question. I know
right.
you guys have access to the news like we do. Do you see
right.
what's happening out here on the streets with the police killings of Black Americans? Donald Trump in the news for president. What do you think, and how does any of that kind of tie in with your book?
I'm always I'm always making references to trending topics, events. And that's what, current events, and that's what Licks is about. In Nasty Licks, we have there's a conversation. We introduce a transgender woman in there. We introduce in Nasty Licks because it's nasty. It's going to be kind of out there, and it's going to talk about the things that most people don't want to talk about. We have a gay thug who is in love with a transgender, and that's not the main point, but it's a minor point, but it's something that is prevalent in the community. You remember a long time ago when people were so anti-gay, and anti-gay Black, but we didn't speak about the gays that we had in the church. Wow. Now, I think we did a disservice to the gays in the church because we were afraid to talk about it, although gays outside the church were being targeted, right? Mm-hmm. So this was just a trending topic. And I think that it's a responsibility of writers to talk about these topics because you get to look at it in an objective way and privately examine the issues. So if it's done, if it's done respectfully, you don't have anybody that you have to agree with or feel pressured to agree with. You can read it on the page for yourself and come to your own conclusions about, what are the aspects of this lifestyle that people are living, and kind of come to your own reasonings. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to denounce it, but at least you get to look at it objectively. So in my writing, I try to address trending topics. And even racism, even politicians like Donald Trump and their viewpoints, we address these things. I'm always having a crooked cop or some white person, and they're multicultural. I'm always having people to represent different viewpoints so that we can look at life in its microcosm.
And give it a true picture of what the world looks like today.
It's true. Exactly.
Right. I think so. And this is why it's still so important for us to read. It drives me crazy that these young kids are now really, because I just call it a distraction with these video games, and I can't even say it's young kids because it's grown men. They're raised grown now. We're talking 40 or 50 to play their video games, and it's like, really? When you
exactly.
Doing something constructive, adding value back to somebody's life by kind of sharing your life experience so that they don't have to go down those same pathways. And then just, honoring now, Peter, what you do and from where you are, I think that's just absolutely fabulous. So, again, I issue a challenge to my listening audience. Don't tell me what you can't do, okay?
It's not, the struggle isn't, the reward isn't the struggle, and there can be no reward without struggle. So if you're looking for, if you're not prepared to struggle, ask for the reward.
Right. I tell people all the time, don't hate until you've walked in these shoes and dealt with what I dealt with in order to get where I am right now. Exactly. Right. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break and get a word from our sponsor. We're going to be right back with Peter. Peter, do you have anything in front of you where you could do a reading from your book? If you got about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I can do a reading.
Okay, great. So here's what I want you to do. You're going to tell us what book, what page, what chapter, and give us about 3 minutes, okay? And we're going to come back with that after a word from today's sponsor.
Okay.
How would you like to own your own health and wellness business with celebrities like Shaquille O'Neal, Chris Brown, Snoop Dogg, Jennifer Lopez, UFC fighters Brandon Vera, Houston Alexander, DWTS's Alfonso Riviero, singer B. Howard, and MMA fighter Rich Rigmadden promoting your business for you? How would you like to share amazing, great-tasting products with your friends and family and make extra money and get free products? How would you like to earn weekly and monthly bonuses? What about getting your share of equity in this billion-dollar company? For more information, log on to www.whatareyouyoueating.info.
Okay, so we're back on the Author Check Show with author Peter Mack. Peter's going to read an excerpt from his book. Which book are we reading from today, Peter?
I'm going to read from Filthy. This was put out by my company, Peter Mack Presents. This is Filthy by Isiko Cooks.
Okay.
This is this is chapter 12. This is after I've already moved over to my grandmother's house and kind of influenced by what's going on. This is probably midway through the book. It's a 325-page book, and this is page 135, chapter 12.
Right.
There are two types of people. One is the kind that others see a natural goodness in, an honesty that no slander can taint. This type is invited into homes of other honest and naturally good people. These people follow the rules and obey all laws. This type will call the police if they see someone breaking the law. Then there is the other type. This type will break the law and bend the rules. It starts off by necessity, then grows into something that this person feels is the only option. This type doesn't usually call the police when they see someone breaking the law, nor are they willing to cooperate. In this type, where there may have been some honesty or inherent goodness, it is dissolved by circumstances beyond their control. I was fast becoming the latter, the type that woke up to weed, cocaine, and dirty money in his pocket, given to him by family who was also the latter type. There was a certain sense of bravado and rebellion associated with the type I had awakened to. It was a sense of having my life in my own hands, which wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't so young. Even now, I was thinking of where I would get breakfast. If I didn't have money in my pocket or something I could sell that was in high demand to get some money, I'd be hungry at the thought of being hungry. I listened for signs of my grandmother as I walked to the front room to look out on the block. Moneybags was sitting in a chair on his porch with a plate of food in his hand. His mother opened the screen door and handed him a glass of red juice. His convertible Chevy was back under the cover, parked on the grass. It was a sunny day. The old lady next door to Moneybags was in her front yard watering the lawn. I looked down the street towards Buck's house, and my heart thumped a double beat in my chest. Brandy was walking in my direction. I watched her from the upstairs window as she sauntered along the sidewalk. She's probably going to the liquor store, I thought to myself. When I stepped out my front door, I didn't know if I should be jealous or not after seeing her come back last night with Mario. I timed it just right. She was at the edge of my lawn when I got to the front of my driveway and pretended like I wasn't seeing her for the first time. It was at that moment I decided not to be a jealous little boy.
All right. And that's from the novel Filthy?
Yeah, that's from Filthy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Great. Wow. Great
you like
excerpt. That? Oh, yeah, that was really good, Peter. I hope that you do get somebody to help you really turn these books into, like you said, a movie, play, even TV movie, TV
right.
story.
Right.
Because, you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you came from. And like you said, okay, a lot of what you write about is what you experience, and that's, like you said earlier, why it really resonates with people. So people can connect with you online on Facebook. Where else can we connect with you, Peter?
Instagram, novelist Peter Mack, and on Twitter at Filthy Confess.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your book, Filthy, Innocence Lost, and Licks, Dirty, Nasty Daddy. Again, the books are available on Amazon.com. Let's see, the paperback for Licks, the Dirty, the Nasty, the Daddy is $16.99. The Kindle is $5.99. And let's see, there's your other book here. Now, I'm going to tell you, Peter, when I saw Licks, the Dirty, the Nasty, the Daddy, it took my mind in a whole different direction.
Well, I get a lot of I get a lot of women who are really turned on by it. So it is what you think it is. If and these are these are professional. It's a lot of sexes. These are professional, good women who love Zane. So if you like Zane, or you like Eric Jerome Dickey, or you like you can stand some erotic fiction that's tasteful, or not so tasteful. I mean, if you just like it, I get a lot of inbox messages. And women tell me all the time, like, I've never, and they love me for it. So, I mean, sex is a natural thing in life. I mean, if we thought of sex as much as we do about gun violence, we'd be in a better place.
Absolutely. And then there's another one called Dirty Licks, One Wrong Move and Everything Becomes Deadly. That's part of that series of Licks. Is that correct?
Right. Well, yeah. See, no, it's not part of the series. Licks contains Dirty Licks. Dirty Licks is the first book in Licks.
Gotcha.
Right.
But it is a standalone paperback for $14.95. Is that correct?
Yeah, Licks is the full trilogy of Dirty Licks. So if you read Licks, you'll be reading Dirty Licks as well. That's book one in Licks.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you so much again for coming on and sharing your story and your books with us. We wish you the best. And tell us when you got something big to share or something big to promote. Just contact me. You know how to contact me on Facebook, and let me know. We'll get you back on the show and try to help you go ahead and get that promoted.
Well, thank you, Lynda. I got a Sweetwater Manor coming in March, and I'll be right back at you.
Sounds good. Okay. Talk to you later.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Okay.
God bless. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Okay, again, that was author Peter Mack, and the name of the books are called Filthy, Innocence Lost, and Licks, Dirty, Nasty Daddy. And again, the books are available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com, and where all online books and paperback books are available. Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the Blog Talk, the Author Chat Show on Blog Talk Radio. We'll be right back here next week to chat with another author to help them promote their book. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Goodbye.
Hello, I'm Roland Dickey from Dickey's Barbecue with something tasty this January and February.
You can't be serious.
I am. Dickey's has $1 pulled pork sliders.
That's outrageous.
And outrageously delicious. Come try our slow smoked pulled pork sliders inside our world famous buttery rolls. At just $1, you can buy a bunch for game watching, big old shindigs, anytime that everybody is getting together.
You're practically giving them away.
$1 pulled pork sliders at Dickey's, where we speak barbecue.
Dickey's, we speak barbecue.